last Sunday, between the last time you watched the Fowler show, the president gave a national address to the American people. I got a chance to, was very graciously afforded the ability by ebony.com to sort of display and talk about my thoughts about the president's speech. Now, there's a lot of people who didn't like the speech, and to them, I understand. I totally understand why you didn't like it. But if you give me a second, I'll tell you sort of tell you where I am on this issue. Now, there's no question that we as a nation face a really, really, really huge threat with terrorism. That's the truth. And the president, in his speech, spoke for about 15 minutes. And for the first time from this president in a very long time, we really heard the language I think people were yearning to hear from him. Right? And I mean, what we're hearing from the Department of Defense is that language is going to be matched with action. And what he said, very forcefully, was he condemned terrorism, and beyond that, he said he would eliminate and destroy terrorism and ISIS. But he made it also very clear, and I think this is one of the most poignant parts of the speech that stood out for me. We are confronted by a cancer that has no immediate cure. Now, a lot of different pundits saw that different ways. But I totally understand where the president's coming from, and I think it's very important the American people at home understand where the president's coming from. Yes, ISIS is a cancer. But we're dealing with a cancer that is spreading, and what we will call, I'm trying to think of the word, it's metastasizing, I think is the medical word for it. It's spreading, metastasizing. And this is not a situation where we could just jump in and bomb the hell out of this cancer or, go into a hospital and cut the tumor out and solve the problem. This is much more delicate, right? And I think people don't understand that. I think Americans are so gung-ho to be like, bomb this, bomb that, bring some ships in there, drop our troops on the ground, and we're going to solve all the problems. But folks, let's go back in history a little bit. And not too far. Okay, we'll start with Exhibit A, Korea. We went into the Korean War to stop the North from invading the South and to basically make sure that we sort of get rid of communism in the North. Today, 2015, almost, Korean War was 40 years ago, 50 years ago, give or take a couple years. North Korea is still a communist country. It is. Then you have Iraq. We were in Iraq twice. We had two different ground engagements in Iraq. We had Desert Storm, we were in and we were out. In Desert Storm, the goal was to push Iraq back into their borders and get them out of Kuwait. In the second round, what is it? I think the Enduring Freedom is what George Bush called it. We were supposed to go into Iraq and we were supposed to decimate Saddam Hussein because he was quote-unquote connected to terrorism, and we were supposed to get all of his weapons of mass destruction, and we were supposed to make Iraq a democracy. Now today, in Iraq, you basically have three different countries. You have one country run by the Sunnis, one run by the Shiites, and then you have the Kurds to the north. ISIS is a big player. Us engaging in Iraq in the early 2000s begot ISIS today. It created more instability in the region. So this is like, if I could use the president's analogy to take it a step further, this is like smoking your whole life and then getting lung cancer and then trying to get rid of the lung cancer, realizing that you sort of created the lung cancer by smoking. Right? So if you didn't smoke, you wouldn't have got lung cancer. And if you didn't get lung cancer, you wouldn't have to deal with going to chemo. I digress. There aren't very many winnable options here, folks. Right? Because even if we go in and we invade Syria, what happens? We actually create more radicalization. Because people aren't only radicalizing in Syria and in Iraq and Afghanistan and Iran, people are radicalizing on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, by the way, www.youtube.com/Fowler Show. And if you come to the Fowler Show, you can self-radicalize to be part of Fowler Nation. It's a very radical movement of people who want change, who want to inform, empower, and help us get their voice back. Total aside. But you get what I'm saying here, right? So he has no good options, right? And anything that you really do over there can create pressure points in other places, in Europe, here in the United States. We need a political solution to Syria and finding a way to get rid of Assad. And then part of the political solutions also got to include finding a way to mobilize moderate Muslims to put some skin in the game. But using rhetoric like Donald Trump's "I hate all Muslims" or what you're hearing from the Republican Party is not how you mobilize moderate Muslims. How you mobilize moderate Muslims is by making a clear distinction between 99% of the billion Muslims in the country, in the world, and the 0.001% that are radicalized. And I think that is what we need to do. Check the piece out on ebony.com. It's pretty epic. We're right back after this break.